Hello gorgeosities, how are you all doing today? I hope you're well. I'm okay. I'm a little bit frustrated. This is an impromptu today. Yeah, I'm frustrated because I'm knee deep in trying to organise trades for things, and I'm currently waiting. I've got about an hour till a carpenter comes, who I've looked at his work online. It's beautiful, so I hope he's going to be right for me. But this morning, waiting for a roofer, waited 3 hours, didn't show up. I mean, honestly, it's like, if you don't want the job, just say so. But on the other hand, I mean, maybe you've got so much work that you simply don't need a big commission from me. I don't know. But to just not show up, such is life at the moment. It is incredibly frustrating. It's taking up so much time and energy. You know, making all the calls initially. This isn't a pity party, but it's just how it is. You have to make loads and loads of calls and find people and say, oh, arrange a date, and then they come and you get a quote, and then you have to sort out the quotes. I can't even get them to come here. So yeah, I'm a bit today, but never mind. Fingers crossed that the carpenter will cheer me up this afternoon. Anyway, in the meantime, I've got some thank yous to say and a bit of catching up on the appliances and the utility bills. Really exciting news on the utility bills. Other stuff going on, so let's just dive in. I've got some thank yous to say first of all. This is so cute. It's a card. It came flat like this, but then it opens. It's a little beach scene and it stays open. It props open on a little starfish. This was from Viv. I'm Vivi, not Viv, but this is Viv. Viv's a little bit crafty. Thank you so much for your parcel. And where am I going to put? I'll put the card there for now. Can you see it? Yay! And amongst the parcel, there's this lovely little sign for my shed. And into the garden I go to lose my mind and find my soul. Maybe I just go there to lose my mind. But yes, thank you, lovely. I'll be putting this on my shed door, I think. Sweet as pie. That's another one to say thank you to, but I'm not going to say anything because she wanted to remain anonymous, but I love it. Lovely card. The beach is my happy place. Surf club to the Long Beach. Beach. Yay! It's all very beachy. It has to go next to the card from Richard and Paul from their last visit. Thank you. And then another lovely card. So I knew this was coming, but I'd kind of forgotten, and it's great. So this is from Anita. Thank you, Anita. So Anita, I think if I'm right, it was off the back of me talking about the books in my videos that she ended up getting into the Sea Detective. Do you remember the Sea Detective books I was talking about by Mark Douglas Home? The second one is The Woman Who Walked into the Sea. The third one is The Malice of Waves. So this is the first in the series. Anita picked it up secondhand, read it, has passed it on to me. Brilliant, so it's number one. So I shall read this and then I will pass it on. And then the fourth one, and it's a bit of a departure from the style of cover, the fourth one is called The Driftwood Girls. So I'll enjoy reading that too. And what's great is I think Paul, who got me into this in the first place, hasn't read number 4. So when I finished it, it'll go on to Paul. So Anita got them second hand. She's passed them on to me, so I'm at least third hand. Then Paul will get it fourth hand. But yay, what fun. And I think, you know, I mostly read non-fiction and I mostly read stuff that's quite challenging and thought-provoking. So every now and again, it's fun to immerse oneself in a bit of a whodunit. It's like, I think I said way back when, it's like Enid Blyton for adults. So yay, up for that. Brilliant. Thank you, Anita. Like I said, I've completely forgotten. I'm having a bit of weak chamomile, and I'm actually having honey today because I just feel this constant like, am I going to get a cold? But I don't quite. It's really annoying. Oh, hang on, Anita's card too. What can you see there? Where should we put Anita's card? I'm trying to see what you can see in there. I tell you what, I'm going to bump Richard and Paul up to the top shelf because they're top shelf kind of guys, and Anita can go there. And then I also had another book from Claire, who sent a lovely, it's Angie Lewing, isn't it? A lovely card. She's one of my favourite illustrators, Angie Lewing. It's called Spay Path. And it's a book oh my goodness, it's like you read my mind. I've picked this book up 4 or 5 times in charity shops or secondhand. They've been in secondhand bookshops, so they're in the kind of the £5 category, and I go, oh, I can't spend £5 on a book. So instead, no, I have my own copy. Not instead, but yeah, I've got my own copy. It's called Life Between the Tides by Adam Nicholson. What's the subtitle? In search of rock pools and other adventures along the shore. Claire, thank you so much. Brilliant. Can't wait to get stuck in. And it's funny because I was just kind of thinking to myself, I'm really low on books. Of course, I've got my library. I've got one on order. More about that another day. But yeah, it's lovely to have a big stack of books again because, you know, the evenings, I'm feeling quite chilly today. The evenings have drawn in. There's less sunshine, there's less temperature, it's getting chillier by the day, so I'm definitely getting into that time of year when 9, 10 o'clock in the evening, get a quilt on the couch and read for 2 or 3 hours. I don't normally read much in the summer, but this year I have. I don't know why. I'm a reading addict. So the other thing for me to do today, before I come on to this fab news, is I've got here, you saw them in that video when I was talking about my cousin. Actually, you didn't see these two, did you? This is tomatoes, this is cucumber. I've got calendula here, and I've got gigantis. So it's definitely that time of year when seed saving is really preeminent in our minds as we start to clear our gardens mid-late autumn. You might be clearing your garden to tuck it up for winter completely. You might be clearing your garden ready to put in winter crops. That's what I'll be doing soon. But either way, this is the time of year when we're saying goodbye to the summer crops. We're appreciating them, we're thankful for them, we're starting to clear our gardens, and we're already thinking about next year. So, little glass jar, my gigantes beans, I have 11 in total. One of them looks a bit hinky, but I'll plant it anyway. They will go into a little food grade glass jar. They're going to I can't speak to them. They're going to go into the freezer for 3 days to just kill off, if any bug got into them, it'll be killed off. And then after 3 days, they'll come out of the freezer. I won't open the jar, I won't do anything. I'll just let it come back to room temperature over 24 hours, and then they can go in a seed packet. So yay, gigantes for next year. And oh, that's a tin of seeds that's fallen off the table from underneath. And I think I mentioned it in a previous video that, yeah, I started this year with 4 gigantes seeds. I must have had a really bad year, not in 2024, didn't have the garden. In 2023, it must have been a bad year, so that I only ended up with 4 seeds. It's terrible. But now my stock is up to 11 seeds. Yay! So, I might have to put this on the stove and reheat it. It's getting chilly. I also have, right, we need a pen. pen. I've got these cute little seed packets. You don't have to have a cutesy seed packets. It can be an old envelope. You know, it can be an envelope that your water bill, more of that in a minute, that your water bill comes in. Just, it doesn't have to be fancy. I think these were a gift one Christmas. I can't remember. But anyway, seed type, cute, there, long, my share. Great. Variety. Oh, I've put the variety in the wrong box. The date collected, I can't remember, but I think it must have been, we'll say September. The actual date doesn't matter too much, it's the year. September 2025, and there's a little space on these packets for growing notes. Now, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I don't need growing notes. Although, okay, I'll chat about this while I'm doing seeds. So you saw me ferment them, then they all got a wash and a scrub, so they're clean of their gelatinousness, and then they've just been set out to dry for a few days. They've had plenty of time. What was I going to mention? Growing notes. So my little garden notebook that I've had for years, and it's really simple notes, really simple notes, and I think it's all you need. My garden notebook is still packed in my book boxes, and I have felt a little bit lost without it this year, because over the years on the allotment, I didn't refer to it so much as I just made notes in it. This year I felt the need to refer to it because I suddenly felt like I didn't know what I was doing. Having had a whole year off, it's like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, it's in there somewhere. It will be found and used again next year. But yeah, my notes are really simple. I just make a note of the date that I've sown the seed. I make a note of the date that it's germinated, and that's quite a useful one because some things take a while. And I think we're all so excited in the spring, late spring, whenever it is. I think we're all so excited to get growing that if we don't see any signs of life after 3 or 4 days, it's almost like we give up hope straight away. Some things take 2.5, 3 weeks to germinate. So having a notebook where you make a note of the date of sowing and the date of germination, it's a really useful and supportive, I'm going to add a bit of sellotape, a really useful and supportive thing for the following year. Don't use your teeth, Vivi, I just did. So apart from the germination date, I then make a note of things like if I prick them out, if they need to be pricked out before actually going to the garden, what date did I prick them out? What date did I pop them on? What date did I plant them? That's a really important one. And that was the one that kind of foxed me this year because I was putting out my, excuse me, I was putting out my tomatoes on the 25th of May. And I don't know why, but I was feeling behind. I thought, oh, I need to get this planted. I never planted them that early when I was in London. So next I've got my tomatoes. Folk keep asking about what variety. It's Gardener's Delight. Seed type, Tom's variety, Gardener's Delight, September 25. Now, Gardener's Delight are a fantastic tomato. They're quite high in acid, so they make them particularly good for preserving if you're bottling, canning if you're in the States. They are a prolific cropper. I mean, you've seen that from my garden. They are prolific. They're a lovely tomato raw. They range in size from sort of a big cherry to a regular kind of, just your kind of bog standard salad tomato. They make great sauce, they're great to cook with, they're a really good all-round tomato and prolific. However, they harvest quite late, as in they ripen quite late. You probably won't get your first ripe one. So I I planted out at the end of May, I think it was May the 25th. I don't think I had my first ripe one till mid-August. And that's fine if you're not in a hurry. However, if you have a blight year, then it becomes an issue. Because if you have early blight especially, you could lose all your plants before a single one has ripened. So, if you're in an area that's prone to blight, I would say, yes, grow them, give them a go, they're lovely. But maybe grow some others which are earlier to ripen as backup. So that's mine, and then I'm going to do another packet for our Paul. I'll do that in a second. No, I'll do it now. That's something to bear in mind. I mean, I would say that with any, hang on, Tom's Gardeners Delight, September 25, 55, no it's 25, Growing Notes, this is for Paul, grow in Swanage. Just trying to encourage him down here. Lost track again. Yeah, just bear in mind that they are later to ripen. Don't monocrop. Sorry, that was what I was going to say. Is I think with whatever you're growing, it's useful to grow 2 or 3 different varieties of things. Firstly, because you might discover that one actually tastes better for what you want it to do. You know, you might be growing things to, some things you might be growing them to roast them, some things for boiling, some things for having raw, etc., etc. I think with tomatoes, especially with cordon, because you're growing them up, they don't take up too much space. Grow 2 or 3 different varieties. I mean, in the past, I've grown, how many different varieties? I think probably maybe as many as sort of 15, 20 varieties. Great. Doing all your different varieties, you're hedging your bets, basically. Hedging your bets for the weather. So that's Paul's packet. I will do the calendula off camera because they are fiddly. And I might get, considering I'm a little bit ratty today anyway, with waiting for the trades. Yes, let's come back to bookshelves and carpenter. So I've got a carpenter coming this afternoon, and he's the first of the carpenters that I will get quotes from. Usefully, I found a picture online that's pretty much what I want for here. A couple of little tweaks, but I think that's a really useful thing to have when you're having, say, bespoke carpentry or whatever other trade done. You know, whether it be lighting or your bathroom or whatever it is, if you can find images, it's like going to the hairdresser, isn't it, with a, can you give me a Rachel from Friends? Can you give me a When Harry Met Sally? Yeah, having an image so that your carpenter, whatever trade it is, really kind of thinks, I know what she wants. And even looking at the image, you can say to your trade, and this is what I'll do this afternoon, the cornice needs to be bigger, this needs to be narrower, whatever it is, but it's a really great starting place. So he's coming this afternoon. Yay! I'd just like to get one of these things done. The windows are going on and on and on. The roof is going on and on and on. Bored of it myself, so if I'm boring you. But maybe I can get bookcases and the cabinetry and storage. Maybe I can get all of that done before Christmas. That would be lovely. So that's this afternoon. The appliances that I took out, the dishwasher and the hood, I researched my prices. I thought I was on it, put them both on my local Facebook group with photographs and the manuals and everything, and they got deleted straight away. My local Facebook group, I need to put in my nose, doesn't allow selling. Oh, I said, oh, what am I going to do? Now, I could have spent a few days thinking about researching and finding other outlets, but the fact of the matter was, I think at the time that they came out, I had visitors during 5 days, Richard and Paul. And straight after Richard and Paul, I had my cousin and my cousin-in-law coming. So I had 2 weeks of people in the flat. There was no way there was room for us all with all this junkyard of old appliances. So I just bit the bullet and I gave them away. And actually I'm really glad I did, because I've had that in the past. I've had a couple of freebies in the past, not anything as big as an appliance, but it just feels more communal, doesn't it? And it was 2 separate individuals, and both, I won't talk about specifics because it's personal, but both were, let's just say they were both really, really, really grateful. So that makes me happy. That makes me really happy. And more than anything, it meant that literally, I think it was about 2 days before Richard and Paul arrived for their visit, the appliances were gone. I could start cleaning, getting organised for their visit. So yeah, I didn't make any money, but the main thing is they're gone, they've got new homes. It's funny, isn't it? Adverts say, free to a good home. I don't care how good or bad the home is, just get them gone. But I do think they were good homes. I'd love to tell you more, I'm not going to. Personal. So the other really good thing, I have to blow my nose, sorry, that's better. The other really good thing is, because I've now been here for a shocking 6 months. Oh, I should just say actually, a shout out to Bill. Hi Bill! So Bill is a Swanage resident, he's also a transplant, and I was out today whizzing around. I had my failed roofing appointment. I was supposed to have a second roofing appointment, and that's been delayed. More of that another day. And then comedy. So I was out doing a hurry around town. Post office, grape tree for some figs, up to the co-op to dump my plastic wrapper recycling that they take there. Library pickup, that didn't happen, so I've had to order instead. Anyway, the point is, I'm walking up the street, and it was a gorgeous sunny day today, a really lovely sunny day. I was walking on the shady side of the street, and I'd stopped for a second to think about something, and I heard my name called. Look across the street, and there's our Bill. I don't know our Bill, just met him for the first time today, sitting in the sunshine outside a cafe with a mate, and he'd waved. So I crossed over and we had a little chat and a hello. So that was really lovely. Thank you, Bill. You made me smile because I was quite grumpy about the missed appointment this morning. Anyway, why did I get onto that? It doesn't matter. Yeah, so I've been here 6 months. That's what I was talking about. I've been here 6 months, and because Bill was saying to me, do you feel settled in now? And honestly, hand on heart, I felt settled into this place even before I'd moved in. It was such apart from the hell of house buying and selling, the transition to here was so smooth, and literally from day one, I'm good. I'm all good. So yeah, 6 months. So I've had my first water bill, because they do them every 6 months here. Now, my bill in London was not metered. I didn't have a meter. The configuration of the pipes, whatever it was, they couldn't fit a meter. So I was on a kind of a standard charge. However, I got a 25% reduction because there's only one person living there. I always think it should be a 50% reduction, because if there are two of us and one person goes away, that's 50% of the people gone. Never mind. I had a 25% reduction, and I think, I can't remember my figures properly, but it was something like £45 a month for my water. And for folk overseas who don't know how it works over here, that also includes my sewage, my drains. So it's the water that comes in that I consume, and it's also the water that gets flushed out. So it's water and sewage. 45 quid a month. And I got a bill about 2 weeks before the completion happened. And at that stage, I really didn't think it was going to happen. And it was increasing to £67 a month for one person. Crazy. And of course, at the time, I was thinking that the sale was going to fall through. I was getting ready to walk away. I was so fed up, and I was thinking, my God, 67 quid, are you kidding me? Anyway, so bear that in mind, because when I came to Dorset, all my other bills, my council tax, my fuel bill, it's all gone up. But when I came here, the water went down. Yay! So when I got in touch with Wessex Water to say, I've moved in, I've got a meter here, but I need to set up an account, etc., etc. So we had a chat on the phone, and they were trying to guesstimate my usage to get an idea of what my direct debit should be. And, you know, it was things like, how many times do you use the washing machine each week? Well, I use it 1.5 times. 1.5 times doesn't make sense. I use it in 1 week, I'll use it once, and the following week I use it twice. 1 week is clothes, the second week is clothes and all my household linens. No, I don't have a car, so I don't have a car to wash. No, I don't have a lawn that I've got a sprinkler on. Yes, I will be watering my garden until I get water butts sorted, but that's dependent on the roof and the gutters and all. So they suggested a monthly direct debit of £35. Now at the time I thought, yay, that's brilliant, because having just been on 45, it was an immediate drop down. But especially with the £67 that was looming in London, £35 felt like a bargain. But I did say, I remember saying at the time on the phone to them, I think I probably use even less than that. And she was like, oh, no, you know, we have figures for this, we know what people use. Okay. So, maybe he was right. I don't mean that in a smug way, but I am smug. No. The summer months, from the end of May, after I'd planted the garden, so basically for June, July and August, I was having to water every single day because we were in drought, there was no rain. So I think this 6 months is going to be my biggest consumption. Compared with the winter, my consumption will go down massively. Watering the garden every single day, even though I was using a bucket catching water in the shower, any runoff from the kitchen tap, my post washing up water would go on the garden. But even so, I was watering the garden. The garden used up more water than Vivi. So I am delighted to say that I'm not using 35 quid's worth a month. I'm using £20 a month, and that's in summer. So we've agreed to reduce my direct debit to 25. So that should still be an overpayment, but we can review it again after another 6 months and we've done winter. I had a credit, I built up credit over the summer of 60 quid in credit. No questions asked, they just refunded it straight away. Brilliant. That can go into garden fund or whatever fund. It will go into one of my funds, you know, I have a million funds. So yeah, I'm really chuffed with that. So in other words, so my direct debit now is 25, but I think realistically it's going to be more like 20. just before I left London, they were threatening, or no, not threatening, they were telling me I was going to go up to 67. So that's a huge, huge saving for me. A saving of 40 odd quid a month, that's 400, that's nearly £500 a year. And I know some people are like, oh, you're too frugal, you make your own life miserable. I don't. I don't have a miserable life at all. It's not about being, I mean, it's partly about being frugal. It's just about being mindful about usage and wastage. I mentioned about the 4-minute shower. There's no way I'm going to do a 4-minute shower. I'm having 10-minute showers. I only have 2 or 3 showers a week. I'm having 10 minutes. I might have 12 minutes. Because it's the one time, that hot water running over my joints is the one time when I feel a little bit of relief. That's a joy to me, and I am not going to scrimp on joy. So yeah, I'll be having my 10-12-minute showers, because outside of that I'm obviously not massively over consuming or over wasting water, so fine. And in years to come, when I do get the water butts in the garden sorted, I mean, it depends on the weather, doesn't it? I could have 5 water butts full to the brim, and in 2 or 3 weeks of drought they're empty. But that will help a bit too. So yay to bringing the bills down. And I'm not missing out. I'm not missing out on anything. Yeah. That's the point. I am not a frugal martyr, I'm just careful, and I live well. I live happily. I'm not a martyr. Please stop saying I'm a martyr. I'm not a martyr. Anyway, right, I'm just looking at the clock now. I think my carpenter should be here soon, in the next about 15 minutes or so. So I'm now going to crack on with the calendula seeds. It feels like it's been such a long time. It hasn't. The last time I did this was 2 years ago. Feels like so long ago. While I'm doing it, I will allow myself to have memories, images, chats, voices of my allotment days. I will do this and think of my old allotment pals and give Gary a call tonight. All right, lovelies, thank you for joining me today for this bit of an impromptu I'm waiting for people thing. I will see you again really soon. I know some of the stuff that's coming up, and it's going to be back out there. So hopefully we'll have some dry days so I can do it and bring that to you. In the meantime, stay well, look after yourselves. Cheerio.